Hey everyone, I'm King Power 44 and I've been wanting to start this series of videos for a while. It seems to me that a lot of players do not know how to counterpick, and when they do counterpick, they don't know how to go about countering the character. I have noticed a lot of people this season and last season just getting destroyed by Genji players. A lot of the time it is because no one on the team is trying to counter the Genji, or they really don't know how. So today I'm going to be explaining how to go about countering Genji. Now before we start, I need to remind you all that there is no real answer to each hero. Like I have said before in my hero guides, certain heroes are better against other heroes. For example, McCree is good against Pharah. Why? Because his abilities give him the advantage over her. But skill is really important to factor into this equation. You can think about it like this. The abilities a hero has is about 30% of the counter. The other 70% is your skill as a player. Countless times I have seen people pick the right character to counter, but then I see them continuously dying to the character that they're supposed to be countering. Okay, now with that said, let's move on to Genji. When trying to counter a hero, the first thing you have to take a look at is what makes them strong. Genji is a very strong and annoying hero sometimes, and that's because he is very fast and very mobile, and his abilities allow for him to do a nice chunk of damage in a short amount of time. With that in mind, let's try to think of some heroes that can 1. Take a punch, and 2. Take away his movement. Also, another thing to keep in mind is Genji is a relatively weak hero. His health pool sits at 200, which means that he can be killed very easily. One more thing to do is to take a look at his abilities to see where they work best. And lucky for you guys, we already have done this for you in our how to play Genji guide. I'll put a card for it in the top right corner so you guys can go and check that out. So what we find is that Genji is really good on 1v1 hero matchups, and unless he has his ultimate, big groups of enemies is really bad for him. With this in mind, the first thing you want your team to do when playing against the Genji is to stick together. Make sure your squishy supports don't stay too far in the back. Then your team needs to have at least 1 or 2 heroes that really work well against Genji and can help your team out as well. We said before that we need a hero that can take a punch and can slow him down, and that gives me, for our first pick, a pretty obvious one. It's Mei. Mei is really strong against Genji for those exact reasons, and his deflect ability is useless against Mei's primary mode of fire, so once he's frozen, an icicle from her will kill him no problem. Genji is weak to all of the tanks. Each of them have their own way of dealing with him. Reinhardt can just flame strike him, severely damaging his health, and it's very difficult for Genji to take out Reinhardt with his shield, let alone his large health pool with armor. Zarya can protect herself and her teammates from him, and her primary mode of fire can't be deflected. Roadhog can hook and kill Genji as well as take hits, but Winston is probably the best counter to Genji, with his weapon being extremely effective to the mobile Genji, and Winston can keep up with him jumping around the map. While all of the tanks are really good at taking damage, D.Va is probably the least equipped to deal with Genji. Now, she can do the right amount of damage to take Genji out, but with his mobility being a factor and her ability to stop his shurikens, it's just really like, it's difficult to counter Genji with her, but you're not going to be beaten by Genji too often. He's not going to do that much damage. Now, let's review the primary things you have to do to stop a Genji from destroying your team. First, stay together, including the supports. Second is to pick heroes that have a good time dealing with Genji. Remember, you want heroes that can take hits, slow or disable his movement, and can dish out some nice damage to take out the squishy Genji. Now again, a good Genji player can easily outmaneuver any hero in the game. Another counter to him is McCree because of his flashbang, but that's really it. So I would definitely make him a really soft counter. If you miss the flashbang, Genji will have no problem dealing with you. Okay, so that's it. That's how you counter Genji, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other tips not mentioned in the video above. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and if you didn't, hit it anyways. Also, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel for more Overwatch tips, gameplay, and news. I'm King Power 44, and I'm out of here. Peace.